How's it going, guys? Welcome to week 3 of SPL. Now, you're probably wondering why this is a little bit of a more somber opening, and this is because I am mid-editing right now, and it's safe to say that my recording of this was an absolute shambles. So, you're going to have to enjoy a bit of postcom from me this week. SK, if you're watching this live, just switch over to Dai's POV. It's better. Well, actually, stay for a little bit. I prepared something a little bit more fun just because I was a bit downbeat in terms of how I wanted to present this video. But here we are. You know, this is the joy of Wi-Fi leagues that are upload required. You gotta make do with what you have. And I think I pulled something together. But I hope you guys are looking forward to the game. If you missed my team builder that I put up yesterday, that should be linked in the description. Or at least will be. I might have to edit a few hours later because I'm not actually home at the time that this is being uploaded. Just adding to my woes because I'm on a tighter deadline. And so, without further ado, I'll leave you to the rest of the video. How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the channel. Today, it is my SPL D-League Week 3 game, where your Slow Bohemians are taking on Diet Tight, the coach of the Minnesota Lycan Wolves, as we look to continue our unbeaten start to the season. So, it's safe to say... Oh, actually, why's my window open? One sec, guys, I'm gonna go fix that. Right, window closed. Let's keep going with the recording.
Uni's the boss.
Wait, what?
Uni's the boss.
Uni! How did you get here?
Uni's the boss.
Oh, Uzi said you. It's safe to say I'm actually fluent in uni, guys. You get that when you're talking around Uzi for ages, and you're also a giant Xenoblade nerd.
Uni's the boss. 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 Uni's the boss.
Well, if the only instruction was to win, you could have nothing said so in so many easier ways. She's unbelievable. Anyways, onto the game. And here we are for a post-up. You'll actually see my face on this because I tried to queue with OBS, tried to record both at the same time, but I felt terrible about it. So, we are here at team preview for our game now. As you can see, I'm making my camera smaller because it just wasn't happening. A lot of technical aspects. This will be fixed ahead of next week. Don't worry, guys. I managed to get everything sorted with Cal. I just tried to be a bit cute in terms of saving on file size. So he brings Turret Ghost, Master Legion. Aside from that, there's kind of no surprises. Iron Hand being his choice for the Neo check over Best Activity, which is pretty alright. I decided to leave my Overquill. I met Builder. I was kind of leaning Jirachi less and less. So I think it kind of made sense. I went with the Overquill lead, just punish the lead hard flame a little bit better. And it also meant that if I had any issues, it also meant I found my best betting red. Which, funnily enough, here is Stitch, which is league red. This works out nicely for me. I get my own limit. The unfortunate bit is I'm probably going to have to reveal that I've scarfed turn 1. Because seeing lead makes me think spikes. And obviously I didn't bring removal this week. So I was kind of thinking for a while here. I knew that spikes was the most likely play. I don't want to give him the opportunity to, especially when I kind of don't have it switching that up. So this was me calculating in terms of did I live offensive. I hit up just in case. But I think I lived everything with respect. So I decided that it kind of made the most sense to put Bar Barrage. If I get the poison, it does mean that I 2-shot, which would be quite nice, even the bulky ones. The offensive ones I think I had a chance to still 2-shot. But yeah, that was just me checking. It's like, yeah, I didn't switch and stick red. So I decided to reveal Choice Scarf turn 1. Managed to get the poison, which is good. As Dai here opts to click spikes. So I get that play right, which is good. And now I'm in a bit of a bind because, you know, obviously he has a steel type in the back in the form of his Archaladon, which the fact he's Arch here and not Desperate was kind of interesting, but at the same time I did expect Arch because he has to protect Braviary in regards to team building. So because I'm expecting his steel type here, I decide that Jirachi is probably my switch in because it means I can get rocks up as soon as possible, which punishes the hard play. So this, I thought, made a lot of sense, but at the same time, Dai is a good player. Like, you'll just kind of see here that, you know, he makes the right play, in my opinion. As I swap out, showing that I'm faster, obviously, because the Scarf. I go into 1,000 years, And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna get Roxy, I'm gonna get Norseer off. It's gonna be great. As he does switch himself, I'm hoping it's an Arch. But nope, we see Jetsam, which is the Bastille Legion, and this is a problem. Because of the fact that I've seen Terra Ghost, it makes me think that he's not Agility, unlike Schultz in some way. Probably Scarf. So, puts me in a bit of a bad spot, because obviously my Ghost will start exactly phasing here, since Overquill is exactly pressured, and guess what, I'm just bad at. I was just hovering over Emu there to show that I'm going to need this Terra by the Choice Scarf, which I think Terra Ghost is a bit of a giveaway. I think if I saw something like Barry, I'd be more inclined for Agility. So, I spent my time thinking about this, just in regards to is there a days if I just go immediately, but no, I decided that going Overquill is the correct play. So, I go to my Overquill here, as Dad decides to pop his... I'm too fast, obviously, getting it off, but spikes. I'm not used to post-up, this is weird. As he opts to pop his Terra in here, which makes sense. Just makes me think he's choiced more, which is fairly damning, but it's okay. He clicks Shadow Ball, and it does an alright chunk. It does about like 40-something% from what I remember. Yeah, it does like 40%. So, next time I come in on spikes, it will... And now I'm a bit of a predicament. Do I want to flick Dart here? Because he knows what this does. And I think switching his land up T, which means I get the Lash Out chip, C gets bulky enough, which puts me in a better position versus Lando. So this is me just kind of calculating, seeing what it is. The other option, of course, is if I don't expect that to come in, is to click Spikes. Because a layer of Spikes is better than nothing, and the way this game is kind of playing out, yeah, as you can see, I'm weighing up the Spikes off quite heavily. But I decided to click Lash Out at the end, because I do think the Lando T gets better hit. However, it is yet another thing here in the game that I've got wrong, as he opts to go to San Francisco with our Gialladon. As Lash Out is going to do absolutely nothing, giving him a stamina boost in the process. Now, I know that my next switch in is fairly obvious. It's in Ratchet because I want rocks up the ASAP, and it's at this point where we see. He came back, but the issue is, because I started recording slightly late, he actually goes hard to use Basket Legion. Really good double on Dice part, and I'm pretty sure during this whole point of the recording I was like, I'm in trouble, I'm in trouble, I'm in trouble. Because I kind of only have one play. And that play is to go on Overquill and hope and pray that I live, and try to get a layer of spikes up so that I can punish the stuff later on. I do go into Porky Puffer once again, spikes, Intimidate, like you saw. Also, fun fact, Recreation took 4 attempts, because Barbarage did not want to poison that Grand, and that poison's important. We'll get to that later. So he can Shadow Ball, and unfortunately he does pick up the kill, which puts me on the back burner, because now I only really have one play. Well, I have 2. But I kind of didn't want to go with player 2. This was the more forcing play in my opinion, and that was to go to Escopada. And it's so obvious that Iron Hands is coming here, and I'm so far on the back at this point because of the pressure that's put me under, and the fact that Spike's on my side compared to Hazard versus Steel on Hearthflame that absolutely solos my team, especially now that Overquill's dead. It can kind of just pick up a kill whenever it wants. So this is me just kind of weighing up my options, because I'm looking at it thinking that I really need to make a play here, and so I double. I double into my Rotom, because, like, I do think about clicking. I also kind of just forgot that I was a knockoff of the set, that I was not flag. But I do decide to go into my Rotom here, because I really need to catch that Iron Hands, and just kind of condition it where it takes it away. So I don't care about getting them Scarf. This also makes me think I might not turn, which could affect plays, whether that be in regards to Trick, or stuff like Triple Axle. I'm also doing a lot of stretching. I don't know why. I do that a lot in this game. So yeah, he goes into Baymax, which is the Iron Hands, and he's probably just expecting to lose here. I know Spec Shadow Ball is a really easy flick, because his Ghost resists to Greninja. which is currently poisoned and slightly weakened. I thought he might go Ogre Plant here, probably predicting a Will-O-Wisp. He goes Grand, does the same thing. I go for Shadow Ball. And even with the Choice Specs, it's not quite enough to pick up the kill, but the poison, which we took so long to recreate, was able to make sure that I got the knockout on the Greninja. The issue is, you can probably count on that damage, because the fact that it's somewhat bulky, that this is a Choice Spec Rotom. And what does that mean? Well, it's a pretty obvious thing with the top of the second. I'm still the first, yeah. Thankfully, the only adjustment we'll see is the when I was doing it in the mid-Shadow Ball animation. No, just because I didn't want to skip the turn. So here's the Basket Legion, because he knows I'm specs, so this thing should get enough kill. So I'm kind of I'm just very much at a loss, because I'm like, this thing's kind of get another one, and I need to think about what it is. And I know my worst monster at this point. The issue is committing to an endgame without rocks is really, really difficult. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. She's quite a keeper. So, yeah, I'm kind of just weighing up in terms of what my sack choice is, because I'm in so much trouble. I do decide that my sack is Shirachi, so, you know, it's just going to go down a Shadow Ball. Sadly, couldn't get rocks up or get the plus that very off. Nothing worked in the early game the way I wanted it to, but that's fine. And dies by this early game incredibly well. Picks up yet another kill with that. What kill you being an absolute monster of things. Like, damn. I'll have to use this thing myself soon. Whenever I get a chance. Maybe chance. So, I made the Desperado player, and now he knows I'm Choice Card. So, now I'm kind of in a bit of a pickle, because I think I need to go into my Emu here, because I need to tear off the SAP. And let's just make sure that Basket isn't capable of get another kill, which would be a little problematic. So I go to my Emu, which thankfully is Assault Vest, so can live one, provided that I've got a Psychic type. So I know that my play here is to just click Mega Crash. I know he's most likely going to go into Darch, and that's completely fine, because Mega Crash against Terrified and Terra Blast should always kill, even if he is Assault Vest, because of the lash out damage that I got earlier. So Dai's thinking here in regards to what he wants to go into, probably because he's not sure what to expect. He probably thinks Protect is coming out, because I went into this so quickly. And obviously I know the start at this point, you chose to go this on the Rotom rather than anything else. First. So he goes San Francisco, which I know that the Mega Crash into Terra Blast kill. I'm going to get the Terra off here. We see Terrified before I get another week. Just on my second attack this time. And we click the Mega Crash here. Not doing a huge amount, revealing that this is Assault Vest, which I kind of suspected. Especially when I didn't see the helmet earlier, it's the Overquill. So he gets Stamina, I get all fun stat trades. And now I have a decision. Because I don't think he's going to stay in here on Terra Blast Fighting. He doesn't necessarily Dismon. The only issue is if he lets this go down to Terra Blast Fighting, he could be a little bit ticklish and get. So I decide to click Lamina Crash again, because I'm expecting the land T-Taunt. When looking back in hindsight, I didn't need to make this play, because the issue is that if the lander is actually got 2-shot, I was in a bit of a bind, because I didn't actually want to kill the lander, essentially, because if I don't get the adrenaline load off in this game, I pretty much lose, like, regardless. So, I need to be really careful about it. He does go to though, which is, as I suspected, gets the spin off, which is fine. And Lumina Crash here does not that much, revealing he is either Assault Vested or basic max speed F. He actually is Assault Vested and incredibly speed F. I didn't run that out at the time. So here was me kind of weighing up, do I want to take my extra chip? And then, or do I want to just go to Rotom? My issue with going Rotom, though, was if he decided to slow U-turn. Because slow U-turn into Basket Legion picked up yet another kill, and that really put me in the burner. Especially because the mono at the sack is my Emu. So I'm kind of weighing up what the hell I want to do. And then I realized I just decided to take a turn in the end here, which is a little bit of a review of itself. I'd say that I was expecting back turn up the step, but it's going to be fine. I do decide that Roden plays my best course of action though, just because if I predict a U-turn and he actually just clicks the Q, I'm in a really bad spot solely because he can U-turn the following turn and I'm in the same issue, just with a board a land is to practice with. He clicks Earthquake, so this means that I can get the Spec Shadow Ball off once again, and even with the Assault Vest, because he's got as much depth, this is just going to kill. So Dai has the two thing. Does he let this go down, which I imagine not, because he doesn't see my Lando Eye yet, or does he go to his other Assault Ball, which is what he chooses to do here, as we see so now once again. And here with the Shadow Ball, I get a nasty crit. And this crit definitely hurt. I was chatting to Dai after. It did live 2, but Draco Meteor I think didn't kill me, and we'll get into conditions to why that was a problem a little bit later on. So at this point, he decides to let San Francisco down, which is complete where it was the most expendable Mon at this point in the game. So here I'm just expecting Fast Confusion to come in and play the victim, and I thought my endgame path was going to be sacking everything. Yeah, it's almost essentially like sacking the whole house to be able to get myself in a position where I can win with Landorus because his own Landorus is still alive. I need to be very careful with that because I couldn't let his Iron Hand spend it. But the 2 Mons I needed in the same game were my Lando and Miascarada. The reason I need Miascarada, of course, is so that if I get Lando in on Iron Hands, so it won't be killed. He goes Ogre Pong. And this was quite interesting, because I potentially didn't die to Cudgel, I did die to Power, but I kind of felt he wouldn't bring Power in here, because Horny Legion to Halucha is uber free. Like, I think you always want Horny Legion. So, I was kind of running some calcs. I did realize that Cudgel was a role in my favor, and Power was obviously killed. So I was kind of weighing up my options in regards to how can I deal with this thing, was kind of the big question. And I knew I kind of only had a couple plays. If this thing did just hit me and kill me with a Cudgel, I was probably going to need to give this thing 2 kills. One, which would be Rotom, and then I would need to go to the Esmeralda, put U-turn, and probably set my Emu. This would get me in the position where Esmeralda foul play would probably kill, but at that point I'd probably still lose the game because he doesn't have to risk Lando. So he clicks SD, which means that I'm able to get a Spec Shadow Ball off, doing lovely 60%. So here I'm like, it's fine, he's in foul play range, it doesn't matter whatsoever, and I actually completely blanked about going to this turn. I don't know why I did, I just kind of assumed the grass move would just be Mono Trailblaze and he'd run Synthesis, but why the hell do you run Synthesis when Horny does the same thing? Especially versus my Fire Resistance. Or not. So, I decided to let this thing go down. This might be a bad idea versus the Iron Hands, but it's fine. It means he can time Horn well. So he Horn Leashes back up to about 90%, killing Rotom. And I know I only have one play here, and that is to go hard into the Esmeralda thing and click the foul play button. And essentially, hope that he doesn't scout it. Which, thankfully I don't really get off. I go into it quick. He does live Aerial Ace at this range, so you might well think he wins the game here. Well, thankfully, he's able to pick up the kill as I pop off a little bit. Yeah. See, it's weird looking at myself in retrospect with no audio. Just because I kind of looked at how much of a nervous wreck I was in this game. So that was a huge. It's one of those that puts me right back in the game, but the issue is that Fast Confusion is still a giant problem, especially because I'm not getting my hands with shit on it. So I'm like 99.9% sure that he's going to go with 2 Iron Hands here, but we don't ask him to even risk it. But my Assault Vest actually comes up clutch in that scenario, because he would probably attack me. He would probably attack me with a Scarf Legion, and at that point, I don't even need the Adrenaline Lord to be able to win my Lando. Although, it would get a little bit dicey, just because of the fact that hands can leave some +1 bits. So he does go Baymax, as I thought he would. And here I know I'm in a tricky spot. Because it's obvious, the Lando play is kind of obvious. So I want to do. The reason I want to do it is because if Lando gets caught by an Ice Punch, I lose the game on spot. That is just how it is. So I need to kind of figure out what's the position that I can get Lando in on his Lando and get myself working. So here's me calculating. There was a chance that Drain Punch to use max attack happened, and because of the fact that I haven't hit this thing this game, I don't actually know what its bulk attachment is. So that puts me in a little bit of a bind. However, I do decide that I do have to go Emo. I have to risk that control and just see what happens. Because the fact that I'm keeping Masquerade alive makes me think that he's not going to let hands take a Lumina Crash if, say, I am at a reasonable range. He does click Ice Punch though, so I do get that play right, because he's trying to cast a Lando, because that's how we guarantee him with the game at this point. Unbeknownst to him, of course, because he doesn't know what Lando said yet. So here I decide to go Landers for one of two reasons. One is because I would get my Adrenaline Orb if he decides to go Land here to take the Meter Crash. And two, it also covers the Drain Punch if he thinks that I'm Bruce. Because obviously he doesn't know that I'm Salt Destined yet, because all the damage that I'm taking in this game, I'm pretty sure is just from hands. Which is, just shows what a turn 1 spikes can do, folks. So, yeah, I do decide that I have to go Landers here after much deliberating, because I know I only kind of have one win condition here. So I go to Lando, and he does click Drain Punch. So, all is good in the world. And now, I think I'm in a great position, because he's not going to let this thing take Nerd Pile. So I know I only have one plan, and that is click Substitute here, and hope that he goes to his Lando. He does switch out, I get quite excited. And we do see the Zeus, which makes me delighted. As my Adrenaline Orb pops here, so I get the speed boost, so now I have to beat the Basket Legion, which is important thing number one. Then I'm going to get the sub up here. And because of the fact that it took the Lumina Crash out of here, meaning that I know it's by 5, or Assault Busted, or both, I decided to focus here because I know the only thing that can break myself is Stone Edge, which I don't see him having. I thought his Rock Move choice would Rock Tomb, as he does decide to go for his strongest move, which is Crunch, which does not break my sub. And then we get to key bit number 2, which is I need to click Bulk Up again, and his U-turn needs to not break the sub. His U-turn needs to not break it, because if U-turn breaks the sub here, I do lose the game. I just straight up lose, because +1 EQ does not do enough to Iron Hands. He kills with Ice Punch from this range very easily. And the Escarada will still not be able to get the kill on the hands. So, I only have one possible option here. Dai's taking a long time to think about this, and I kind of get it, because he's probably figuring out that same path. So I go for Bulk Up again. I'm now +1/+2 with +1 speed. As he goes for U-turn, the moment of truth, it does not break. Takes damage, doesn't break. And now I know the game is essentially won at this point, because he'd go on Iron Hands, break myself with Ice Punch, no bother, but the EQ is not good enough. And even if he does take the EQ and then try to play some pivot games with his own landers on like Qs, I basically just set up in his face and I hope for it. Like, and as long as he doesn't crit me multiple times in a row, I'm completely fine. Actually, I lie. I think you can just crit me once. Depends on his attack. I need to double check that. But so Dai is in a bad position because of his lack of set, which I'm so glad actually worked, because it didn't work in Mox whatsoever. But I trusted Theory Graph, and this is what you get when Theory Graph pays off, guys. So I know my play is to obviously just click Earthquake, as we do a nice clean 60% here. Really good damage. as I actually decided to mix up. So I know that my click here is obviously just going to be the earthquake button, because I don't care if you guys go to Orlando. I just know, like, if he goes into Orlando, that's fine. I probably just bulk up on it again, and crunches. I probably then just start taking my damage. I could sub up on it once. Subbing up on it once would be completely fine, and just kind of see what happens there. Like, I sub on it, there's a break, bulk again. The only way that I lose this game now is if Landers crits my Landers. That is the only way that I can lose the game. And that only happens if he doesn't let us go down. However, he does let us go down, so that's fine. So even if all else fails, there's no Radical potential to win this game. It's about white, which is really nice. And so we're down to a 3v2. I keep forgetting that Even's actually still playing this game, which is nuts. So I actually would get him now, because I could go Evo. But he goes past Legion first, because he does live +1 EQ. But +1 crunch, he's able to kill. He's probably more so thinking that I fucked up my creeps, but I didn't know. +1 crunch, able to pick up the kill. And now it looks like we're going to be able to take this game home. Oh, what a nail biter, folks. So, it comes down to Landers versus Landers, as I thought we all kind of might thought it came down to. See Zeus, for one last time, getting off another date, putting me back to neutral, but I am close to defense. And now at this point, I'm just cautious about Prince. Because of the fact that I'm not triple axle on my Mescalada, I have to be pretty about this. I'm probably still fine, even if he did crit through me. Like, I click sub here just because, you know, if he does crit me, it's not the world. Because obviously I'm behind the sub. He does not crit me, thankfully. And here I just bulk again to get that +1 again. I could have just clicked crunch multiple times, but I decided to bulk up slightly safer, because I also didn't know if 2 crunches were going to break sub at this point. He does click crunch, we do find out that 2 subs doesn't break it. And so, now I'm like, there's no point in clicking sub again. I'm just going to get my damage. And if he crits me, I win the game 2-0, because Scar Flower Trick cleans at this point. So the game is in the bag. The only thing is it going to be Landers to fix the final kill, or is it going to be Bada? I don't know why I'm hovering the Pokemon button. God, I worry myself. But we are just going to click crunch here. There's absolutely no drawback to it. Just going to get my damage, as we do. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Landers showing it the superior one, as crunch does a grand total of 40p. And just like that, your Slow Bohemians are now 3-0 as we pick up the 3-0 double versus Diet Tight, the coach of the mix of Mike and Wolves. And this was a massive victory that I was extremely happy about. Given how badly the early game went because of how well Diet played, this was always going to be a bit of a challenge. And I think I pulled that around quite well, and the Lander set working exactly how it was intended, being able to take it home. And so here we are. 3-0, joint top of the league in a really good spot for playoffs, because with a 7-week season and 8 teams, 12 in playoffs, 3 and 4 at least should do the trick. And I shall see you guys next week with everything fixed and no post-com as we take on Lax, the coach of the Showdown Shoguns. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you the next one. Peace!